I stared at Claire, my fingers tightening around the glass in my hand. The way she stood there, dripping from her shower, wrapped in nothing but a towel, acting like she hadn't just spent hours with another man, it made my stomach turn. She had the audacity to call me darling as if she hadn't shattered everything we built. She moved toward me, her bare feet padding softly against the hardwood floor. The scent of vanilla and steam clung to her, masking whatever traces of him she had washed away. But I wasn't a fool. The way her body still hummed, the way her skin glowed, she had been touched, claimed, and now she stood in front of me, pretending nothing had happened. "You waited up for me?" she asked, tilting her head slightly. Her voice was soft, almost affectionate. I didn't answer. Instead, I placed my whiskey glass on the table beside me and slowly pushed myself up from the couch. She followed my movements, her blue eyes scanning my face, searching for something. Maybe for anger. Maybe for weakness. "Where were you?" My voice came out steady, but I could feel the rage simmering just beneath the surface. She sighed, rolling her shoulders like this conversation exhausted her. "I told you earlier, I went out with Emily. A little girl's night." She was lying. Again. Without hesitation. Without shame. I took a step forward, closing the distance between us. "Emily called," I said flatly. Her body stiffened, just barely. It was quick, but I caught it. Her fingers twitched against the towel. She did. I nodded. "Yeah." Funny thing, she seemed confused when I asked if you were having a good time. Claire blinked, her lips parting slightly. "Oh, well." I didn't let her finish. "Where were you, Claire?" Silence. Something passed over her face, a flicker of frustration, maybe even guilt, but she quickly masked it. "I don't see why it matters," she muttered, shifting her weight. I let out a breath, shaking my head. "It matters because you're my wife. Because I sat here for hours wondering where the hell you were while you were out." Asterisk enough. Asterisk, she snapped, eyes flashing. "I'm tired. I don't want to fight." She turned, as if she could walk away from this, but I wasn't done. I reached out, grabbing her wrist, not hard, but enough to make her stop. She sucked in a sharp breath, looking at me like I had just crossed some invisible line. "Who is he?" I asked, my voice low, calm, deadly. Claire's jaw tensed. Her pulse fluttered beneath my grip. She could lie. She could spin another story. But deep down, we both knew the truth. And I wasn't going to let it go. Claire yanked her wrist free, her breathing uneven. 1,000 thoughts must have been racing through her mind as she tried to calculate her next move. Would she deny it? Play the victim? Twist the story until I was the villain? She swallowed hard, gripping the edge of her towel like it was the only thing holding her together. "You're being paranoid," she said finally, her voice softer now, controlled. I almost laughed. Paranoid? I took a step back, running a hand through my hair, letting her think she had some control over the situation. "Tell me something, Claire," I said, keeping my tone level. "When exactly did you start thinking I was stupid?" Her eyes flickered, just for a second. Guilt. Maybe. Or maybe she was just trying to figure out her next lie. "I'm not doing this with you," she muttered, turning toward the bedroom. "I'm exhausted." I let her walk away. For now. She thought the conversation was over, but it was just beginning. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of Claire moving around the house. The scent of fresh coffee drifted in from the kitchen, but it did nothing to settle the weight in my chest. She was acting normal. Too normal. When I walked in, she smiled like nothing had happened. "Good morning," she said, sliding a mug toward me. "I made your favorite." She wanted to erase last night. Pretend the tension, the questions, the accusations never existed. But I wasn't going to let her sweep this under the rug. I picked up the mug, studying her over the rim. "Where'd you go last night?" She froze, just for a second. Then she sighed, shaking her head with a small, exasperated laugh. "Are we really doing this again?" I didn't answer. Her fingers drummed against the counter. "I told you, I went out. I needed a break." A break. I set the mug down, carefully, deliberately. "From what?" She hesitated. "You," she said finally, her voice barely above a whisper. I should have been angry. Maybe I was. But more than anything, I was done. I nodded slowly, pushing back from the counter. That's all I needed to hear. Claire's expression shifted. What does that mean? It means I'm giving you all the space you need, I said smoothly. No more questions. No more paranoia. Her shoulders sagged in relief. She had no idea what was coming. I leaned in, pressing a soft kiss to her temple. She shivered, mistaking my touch for forgiveness. But I wasn't forgiving her. I was setting the trap. And soon, she'd walk right into it. The weight of her betrayal pressed against my ribs like a slow, crushing force, but I masked it well. My fingers curled into fists at my sides, yet I kept my face neutral. Claire thought she still had control, that her lies could be neatly folded away like the towel barely clinging to her damp body. She had no idea. I forced my jaw to unclench, letting out a slow breath. You're right, I murmured, watching her reaction carefully. We should fix this. Surprise flickered across her features, quickly replaced by what almost looked like relief. The way she exhaled, as if I had just lifted a burden off her shoulders, made my blood boil. This woman, my wife had spent the night in another man's bed, and yet she had the audacity to act as if I should be the one grateful for her return. But I played along. I stepped closer, letting my fingers skim over her damp shoulder. Claire shivered, mistaking my touch for something else entirely. I missed you tonight, I whispered, watching as her lips parted slightly. Guilt? No. There was none. Only the satisfaction of a woman who believed she had successfully deceived her husband. Claire leaned into me, tilting her chin upward. I missed you too, she lied, her breath warm against my skin. My fingers traced down her arm, slow and deliberate. She had no idea she was standing at the edge of a cliff. Let's go away for the weekend, I suggested, my voice calm, almost tender. Her brows lifted slightly, caught off guard. Away. I nodded. Just us. A pause. Then she smiled, soft, pleased, eager to accept whatever olive branch I was handing her. That sounds perfect. Liar. I leaned in, pressing a slow kiss to her forehead. I'll take care of everything. The next morning, I was up before her. I brewed coffee, the rich aroma filling the kitchen as I scrolled through my phone. I already had everything I needed. Her lover's name. His workplace. His address. The man she thought was a secret? Not anymore. Claire strolled in, dressed in one of my old shirts, pretending to be the devoted wife she had abandoned long ago. She kissed my cheek as if nothing had changed. I let her. You're in a good mood, she noted, sipping from her mug. I smiled. Looking forward to the weekend. Her eyes brightened. Me too. Lies. 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 Asterisk. I had no intention of taking her on a romantic trip. By the time she found out where we were really going, it would be too late. The weekend arrived faster than expected. Claire packed eagerly, humming softly as she zipped up her suitcase. She had no idea what was coming. I played my part well. My touch lingered when I brushed against her. My voice remained gentle, filled with carefully measured affection. I wanted her to believe that everything was fine, that I was the same devoted husband she had discarded without hesitation. We got into the car, her fingers resting lightly on my thigh as I drove. She had no clue where I was taking her. The destination. Not some cozy, secluded cabin like she imagined. No, I had planned something much better. After 2 hours, the scenery changed. Claire frowned slightly, noticing the surroundings. City streets, not mountain roads. Where are we going? She asked, glancing at me with mild confusion. I smiled. A surprise. She laughed softly, leaning back against the seat, still unaware. 15 minutes later, I pulled into a parking lot. Not just any parking lot. His parking lot. Claire's breath hitched as she stared at the sleek office building towering in front of us. Her fingers gripped her seatbelt. Why are we here? I turned to her, watching realization bloom in her wide, terrified eyes. There was no escape now. Let's go inside, I said smoothly, stepping out before she could protest. Claire hesitated, but I knew she couldn't refuse without exposing herself completely. Inside, the receptionist greeted me with a polite smile. "Welcome. Do you have an appointment?" I nodded, my voice steady. "I'm here to see Daniel Pierce." Claire flinched beside me. The receptionist checked her screen. "Mr. Pierce is in a meeting. Tell him his guest is here with Claire." I made sure to emphasize her name. The receptionist hesitated, then picked up the phone. A quiet, hurried conversation followed. Moments later, an older man in an expensive suit approached. Daniel Pierce. His eyes locked onto Claire, confusion flickering into something darker. "Claire." I turned to her, relishing the sheer panic on her face. She was trapped. "Claire told me so much about you," I said casually, shaking his hand. "I figured it was time we met properly." Silence. Thick. Unbearable. Daniel swallowed, his gaze darting to Claire, then back to me. "I think there's been some misunderstanding." "No misunderstanding," I cut in smoothly. "I just thought you'd want to hear how my wife spent her nights while coming home to me." Claire gasped, her hand flying to my arm. "Please, let's talk." But I wasn't finished. I reached into my pocket, pulling out my phone. One tap, and the screen lit up. Messages. Photos. Videos. I turned the screen toward Daniel. His face drained of color as he took in the explicit evidence. Claire made a strangled sound, reaching for me, but I stepped back. "Your little secret isn't so secret anymore," I murmured, my voice laced with quiet satisfaction. Claire turned pale. Daniel was speechless. I let the weight of their betrayal crush them, watching as their world unraveled before my eyes. Then, without another word, I walked out. And this time, I was the one who never looked back. The end.